Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Postgame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz, and that is all the time we have for you.
Good night, folks.
Yeah. We are, of course,
It hasn't been fun.
PHLY Flyers Postgame, of course, brought to you by our friends at Bet365. I am Bill Matz. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Flyperboli's own Steve Jaco.
That sure was a game of the ice sport, Bill.
On the positive side, the Flyers killed a few more penalties. They are at now 90.5% on the season. They've killed 21 straight, and that is a tied with Buffalo for the best PK percentage. In the third period, they matched their shot total from the first 40 minutes of the game. Travis Konechny's game wasn't a complete disaster.
Yeah, there was a period where we thought it was definitely going to go down that way.
I am just perplexed at what we have seen from this team in these last couple of games. They are generating no offense. And listen, they came in 0.01 shots ahead of the Kraken per game for last ahead of them for last place in shots per game.
Is that good?
Another game with under 20 shots. Listen, the PK being good that's nice. The goaltending, Aleksei Kolosov isn't the reason they lost. That's maybe a first in his career. I can't believe how little they did in a 60-minute hockey game against this wasn't the Dallas Stars. This wasn't the Vegas Golden Knights. This wasn't the Florida Panthers. Calgary came in with 2 wins. They had 1 win since their opening night shootout. It's the last game of a 4-game road trip. They played last night in Nashville, and you did nothing. Yeah, they get the goal at the end. TK, good for him. He had a rough night handling the puck, I thought, but he gets one. Maybe that'll get him going a little bit. But this offense is non-existent right now.
I'd call it putrid right now, Bill. And as we're seeing with the Flyers, it really seems like they're not very good Jenga players, because you remove one piece and the whole thing comes tumbling down. Because without Couturier last night, we're not the same team.
No.
And then without Forrester tonight, they just look they look like they've never played hockey with each other. And I understand jumbling the lines can be detrimental for the chemistry, but I mean, most of these guys have been playing together for years now.
The first period, I put in my, the instant reactions I do, they end up on Yahoo Sports. They're available right now at allphly.com. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, because I do it period by period. And at the end of the first, I was like, you know what? All right. Jumbled the lines. Coots is back. Forster's out. There's some mixing and matching going on. Maybe this is a feeling out process. So I kind of spotted them the first period. Okay. You played last night. Sure, so did they, but let's just... And then in the second, they're just as bad. They just absolutely nothing. You see the final tally. It's not as if Calgary was excellent in this game. The shot block, basically the same. Hits, basically the same. Neither team scores on their few power plays. 21 shots on goal for the Flames. Jonathan Huberdeau scores a couple, the much maligned Jonathan Huberdeau, which is basically his title at this point, scores the only 2 goals for Calgary. And man,
to sum this game up, when ESPN's got a shot chart, okay, and I looked it over real quick because I just wanted to see how much of this was just the Flyers missing shots, how much was blocking shots. The first one I hovered over says Trevor Zegras shot blocked by Noah Cates.
Yeah,
that's not great.
They really had trouble getting shots through tonight. You see, 18 shots on goal. 18 shots blocked. And those are the ones just blocked by Calgary, not including the ones that are now the NHL actually tracks when you have a shot blocked by your teammate.
Your own guy, your friendly fire.
But 18 shots on goal, Calgary blocks 18.
And then miss shots.
Nobody can get, that doesn't even count the misses. Nobody can get the puck on net.
The one I really wanted to point out was Dvorak.
Yeah.
Dvorak on the penalty kill.
3-6-9. Look at that. Perfect.
Has a prime opportunity, just a prime opportunity to power kill goal, re-energize the team, get them back into it. And he misses way wide.
He's in all alone on a shorthanded breakaway. He is in between the hash marks. He is in like the danger area of
And he's
the
got
ice.
room to work.
And he's got some room. Dustin Wolf, listen, he had a really good rookie year, not off to a great start this season. And I realize, like, okay, the point isn't to bury the puck into the goalie's chest because that's just as bad as missing, I guess. Maybe he could drop it and you could poke it home. But, like, he misses, it's seen by so much. He's going glove, and it's just, it felt like a foot wide of, and listen, I don't want to point out when, Matvei Michkov still has 1 goal this season. TK gets the goal, but he's looked lost handling the puck. Owen Tippett has failed to score in 6 straight. Zegras' point streak ends. I hate to point out Christian Dvorak,
who I thought, he's been a good player overall.
been fine. He's
been
exactly
fine.
as advertised.
Right. He plays solid defense. He's fine.
He
but
is
like,
a acceptable middle 6 forward who can score a little. He can do a little bit of everything for you. He's totally fine.
Sure.
It's just like, come on, man, you missed on a breakaway?
Right. Like, at least go for the pads. At least try to get the 5-hole. Do something. And this team just looked lost for most of the night. One of the things I'm most curious to ask Charlie about when he gets on is how much of this was the Flyers just inflicting their own wounds, or how much of this was Calgary playing a decent defensive system? Because it did look like they were really clogging up the middle, and it looked like they were really, meeting the Flyers at the blue line. So it did seem like, I'm sure it's like a classic, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but overall, it just felt like the Flyers could have had more opportunities, and they just looked completely out of sorts all night.
I will, sometimes we, because we're so hyper-focused on the Flyers, we forget, like, there is another team, and their objective is to win as well, and they're trying to execute a game plan. Sure, I can accept that a lot of the time and take a step back and go, okay, this isn't just that they suck, it's that the other team played better tonight. It's the last place Calgary Flames.
3rd win of the season. They were 1-6-1, I believe, in away games coming into this game. So
that one was opening night, a shootout win over Edmonton.
Right.
It was a month ago.
Pretty crappy run from the Flames here. This is a game the Flyers should have won. This should have been a bounce back game for them after Toronto.
100%.
If you have back-to-back games and you're home, in theory, and you play the worst team the second game, and your goaltender, who, we didn't have high expectations for, doesn't really, cost you the game, there was no reason for the Flyers to just look as sad as they did in this game.
No, there was absolutely no reason for them to muster 0 offense against a Calgary team that came in allowing, I think, the 6th most shots per game. At over 30. I think they're at like 30.5 they allow per game. They get 3 in the first period. Like, that's just, 3 is an abysmally low, what the hell are you doing total.
It was insane. I couldn't believe it. And it keeps coming back to this, Bill, where we keep saying, like, all right, well, we've been pointing out the good offensive stuff that's been happening, right? Like, Zegras has been a lot of fun. Zegras has been great. We've seen some great stuff from the Cates Forrester Brink line, right? And occasionally we've seen some of the old Matvei Michkov and some of the old Travis Konechny. But overall, this team is generating very little offense, very few shots. We were talking before the Nashville game. You had picked the Flyers to just get a lot of shots in that game.
Yeah.
And they really didn't for most of that game. That was a game a lot like tonight where they looked lost. They looked terrible. And then in that game, Zegras jump-started them and brought them back to life. But tonight, the closest they came was Konechny scored that late goal when you went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I almost told you to stay in there. And but I didn't want them to tie because I didn't want to stay here that late. No, but it's all mumbo jumbo. But at the end of the day, they shouldn't have to wait that long against these really bad teams, because Nashville's really bad and the Flames are really bad, to muster any offense. I don't really understand what's happening here. And I'd say Rick Tocchet has got this team playing good defense, but he's got to figure out what the heck to do about this offense.
Yeah, I am not expecting Charlie to take very long to join us at all. So, Verna, I am going to throw it to our first commercial break. Whatever the moment, it's never early. It's never early. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And gotta tell you about that NHL early payout offer, because you're a winner if your team opens up a 3-goal lead. Imagine scoring 3 goals. I bet it's exciting.
Wow.
But if you happen to bet a team that isn't Philadelphia that has a chance to score 3 goals, and that happens, they're up 3, boom, you're automatically a winner if you bet them on the money line or made them a part of your parlay. You automatically marked as winners. No need to sweat the rest of the game. And we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets, whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone who knows a gambling problem wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And now, Flyers fans, do you know who's dishing those championship level deals every single day? It's Elkins Chevrolet. They're located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey, and it's run by three brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh. These guys are in the store every single day working to make sure they have a huge lineup of Chevys at the best price and providing honkin' good service. There's no missed shots. That must be nice. No drama. Just real brothers running a local business and backing every deal like it's the championship game. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy, make your next move to Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Shop now at elkinchevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. So even after they put up 30 shots on goal last night, and they were all, I'm pretty sure, in the final 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
They get that. The Flyers came in 31st in the league, averaging 24 shots per game, and Seattle was 32nd at 23.9. During Rick Tocchet's 2 full seasons in Vancouver, they averaged 27 shots a game, 4th fewest. 7th worst his first full year, and 2nd worst last season.
Is it?
Petey brought this up last night. He also said Arizona, I think, didn't have a ton of seasons near the top of the league, but you can just be like, that's Arizona.
So is he blatantly ignoring the fans in the upper level going, shoot?
I just feel like there has to be some sort. I know they want to really get pucks deep and try to establish the forecheck, but that simply was not happening tonight, whether it was Dustin Wolf or the defenseman getting back. They were never first to the puck. It felt like, I know that they were clogging the middle and getting the controlled entries was difficult, but something has to be available. You can't chip and chase. You can't carry in. This is not the freaking 95 Devils. Like, it just simply isn't. There has to be something available that you have more than 9 shots through 40 minutes.
I think of a quote from 2 great men. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky and, of course, Michael Scott. So, you got to shoot the dang puck if you want to score a goal. It seems elementary, but it doesn't seem to be something the Flyers are interested in doing.
It doesn't.
And it just stinks. It's bad hockey to watch. It has not been fun these past couple games. And it's this team trying to win games because, they were lifeless tonight. They just looked like crap.
It was really like they need the smelling salts or something going because they just really didn't have. There was a couple of times guys tried to mix things up. Garnet Hathaway later in the game. It was TK earlier on when play gets blown dead offside. I think he was trying to claim he couldn't hear the whistle, or also
he jumped Kadri?
Also Kadri kind of sold it a little bit, but Kadri didn't see it coming.
Oh, he
came up behind him and
barreled into him,
railroaded him. Considering what we saw last night with the Tanev and Michkov play, this was, I thought, far more dangerous than that because he actually meant to hit him. But other than that, there was just felt like nobody had to get up and go tonight, and it really showed, especially at the offensive end of the ice. Someone who did impress me, because I do want to talk, a little.
You got to talk about something.
You got to talk about something. We have an hour.
60 minutes of just negative, misery. Yeah.
I'm
not into that.
We have taken plenty of shots at Aleksei Kolosov and the season he had last year. Of course, he kind of forces his way onto the NHL team, refuses to go to Lehigh Valley for any real stretch of time, and rewards the Flyers for their loyalty by having the 4th worst save percentage in hockey among goalies. I think who played 10 or more games. I think was the cutoff I gave him.
It was pretty lousy.
So I came in with, okay, let's see what you got, sort of expectations. But all right, if they lose to this bad team, it's because he had a .650 save percentage, and honestly, yeah, that was on the table. He came in relief last night, stopped 7-7, follows it up in the first period, 10 out of 10. Not a ton of high danger chances, but he did make 2 in close, in tight on the penalty kill. I thought those were big. And overall, you see the numbers, 905 save percentage. He stops 19 out of 21. First goal, it looked like Sanheim and whoever was kind of the other forward who was kind of pushing Sanheim towards the net. That was sort of a moving screen, and Huberdeau found some room over his shoulder. He is not a big goalie. And second goal, floating wrister from Uyghur at the point, and Huberdeau gets a stick on it, and it's a deflection that no one could have stopped.
That was a killer deflection, and just there were 2 Flames, 1 Flyer in front of the net. There's not a lot you could do there. And yeah, I don't really put those too much on.
I don't put them on him, no.
Kolosov, it is interesting watching him in comparison to Vladar, because you talk about guys with just completely different playing styles, where Vladar is such a big guy who knows how to use his size, and he stands tall in the crease and even crouches tall. And Kolosov just looks tiny, and he's like getting pushed into the net a lot and everything. But I thought he used his speed well tonight. I thought he made the big saves when he had to. This certainly is not on him. And
no.
This is encouraging for, you know, however long this stretch is going to be, because Sam Ersson is week to week right now, right?
Yeah, he's week to week. He had to go on IR. So it was at least going to be 1 week. And I suppose, all right, no real point in even, you know, evaluating him if that's the case. Yeah. But it looks like Kolosov might get a little extended run here. Now, I expect Dan Vladar to be right back in there in the next game, despite being pulled in the last game. And he's been solid. He's giving me no reason to think, oh, okay, and now here comes a bad streak, because most of what he's done has looked pretty like, all right, he's just a professional goaltender. I very much doubt he's going to maintain the 940 he had before last night.
No, who can do that?
That's Dominik Hasek winning MVPs.
Yeah,
but
he's not Shesterkin.
Yeah, like,
there's a reason we signed this guy for just a little bit.
The goaltending, which is crazy to say after last year, and sure, get a few bad games in a row, we can change our mind about that. Right now, the goaltending is the only thing I'm not concerned about.
Yeah.
Like, the goaltending has been solid this season, and tonight, and really last night as well, it was just, yeah, the offense is giving you nothing.
And even the defense, like, the defense is fine. Like, even that deflection we mentioned, the Huberdeau one, like, that's just a tough play. And Huberdeau, despite talking some trash on him earlier, he is a good hockey player. He maybe isn't as good as Matthew Tkachuk, but he's still a good hockey player.
He is one of the great victims of a contract.
Yeah.
Like, he signed a contract and is living up nowhere near to that, but he's still a decent enough hockey player. He's got good skill. Like, it's just like,
if anything,
what's he, 11.5 mil? Like, he's not that.
He was probably more so a product of Barkov at the end of the day, because Barkov is unbelievable. But, you know, it's going to be so interesting week for the Flyers ahead schedule-wise. They've got Montreal, Nashville again, and Ottawa again. And Nashville, we know they've had struggles. That's a game where I'd like to see them get a little bit more up for that game. Montreal can put up some goals, though. Montreal can be a really tough cookie right there. And I'm curious to see how Vladar bounces back in that game. And also to just see if the Flyers can put up some more shots, to put up some more offense in general. Because, you know, Hudson and Caulfield are going to get their chances and probably score some goals.
Absolutely. And that brings me now, we have to hit tonight's game changer, driven by Elkins Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. And I made it Jonathan Huberdeau earlier and then changed it, because I looked at the time on ice report, and number 39, Matvei Michkov, ended up playing, what was the final total? 1341 tonight. Now, I get it. He might not be in the best shape. He might not look the way he looked last year. Constant scoring chance machine. If you're going to play him like a third liner, and this team can generate no offense, this is a circle. This is an arrow going around and around like a carousel. He is your most talented offensive player. I guess now Trevor Zegras in the fold and what he's done to start the season, we can put them 1A and 1B. But Matvei Michkov playing 1341 in a game where you have no shots, you have no opportunity to score, 2 scoring chances on the night maybe, and one of them is a shorthanded breakaway that missed the net. Like, what could possibly be the reason for this? Starting him out with Abels and Dvorak is
that made me so
okay.
mad,
so he's supposed to pass to who? You know, like,
right?
I just
these are guys that they're hockey players, right? They are hockey players, but they are not offensively skilled hockey players at the end of the day. They're like Dvorak's fine, but we saw him miss the net by a mile, and Abels is barely a fourth liner.
Like, yeah, he's a fourth liner because we have no centers.
Right.
Like, I think
if they had centers, he wouldn't be on this team. Because they don't have centers, he makes it on.
Mish comes into camp out of shape, and okay, I'm kind of on board with Rick Tocchet going. It's not Michkov mania this year. It is about the team and it's about moving the team forward. I just think there has to be some sort of balance, though, when you can create nothing. Maybe get him out there and get him a few extra shifts when you can. Like, yeah, you're using him when you pull the goalie as the extra attacker, things like that. That's all well and good. But this is the first time I think I'm going to criticize Tocchet. Like, whatever the system is that's resulting in no shots on goal pretty much until you have your net empty the last 2 nights, and your guy who led the team in scoring last year, especially with Tyson Forster out tonight, is playing third line minutes. How did you think you were going to score? Where was the offense going to come from?
Third line minutes and playing with third line talent. And that's what gets me is like, you have to surround him with talent. That was the problem last year, is he's not playing with enough talent that can keep up with him and how he can be creative offensively. And you're playing him with 2 guys that just aren't that good at the end of the day. Like, what do you expect? And it sucks to watch.
I don't want to make this seem like I am completely absolving Mish. Like, he had opportunities tonight where he mishandled the puck. He still doesn't seem that confident along the boards on his backhand. And I know, like, that right side is where he wants to be, but like, he needs to control the puck better. He needs to be better.
Absolutely.
But also, what is the point of not playing him? What are we trying to accomplish? Especially earlier in the season when it was like, yo, Tippett's just going, man. Or Cates Forster Brink, this line is just really freaking good. They've had like 2 points in each of the first few, whatever. Like, on a night where no one's going, trust your best players to maybe make a play.
Yeah. And we've talked a lot about how Brink has been a really good offensive player for this team this year. Brink only gets 13:45 tonight. You know, Brink's a guy that I think has been very exciting for this team at times. And he didn't, again, nobody had a great game tonight on the Flyers.
No.
The closest you can make a case for is Kolosov. And even then, I didn't remember him making any like amazing saves or anything, but whatever, you know, like the thing is like, you need to get these playmakers out there, and the only one they really were putting out there was Zegras, and I guess you could say Konechny too. But Zegras,
they both played over 20 minutes, and that's your whole offense right there. Zegras and Konechny, if they can't get anything going, no one else is scoring. I like Coots a lot. He played 19:31 tonight. Coots isn't generating offense. He can be a useful piece in some asset in some regards for you offensively, but as the guy driving things, that's not him. And then after that, Dvorak, 17:55, again, can do some useful stuff for you. If he's 4th on the team in ice time, that's probably not all that great. Cates, okay, he gets the assist. It's on his face-off win. I can accept that. Tippett only plays 15:41. Brink, like you said, 13:45. Mish, 13:41. Where is the offense supposed to come from?
I don't know. And how sad was it that at times the most noticeable line for us was the 4th line? You know, seeing Gaucher out there and Grabenkin.
I swear they had the most shot attempts tonight. I have no numbers backing that up. It probably isn't true, but it feels true.
It feels true. I mean, I'm just noticing them more than I am some of the guys that should be doing all the work. And I don't know. It was just a very frustrating game tonight. And it was stunk. It was bad hockey.
So that is tonight's Game Changer, driven by Elkins Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. It was a very, very frustrating game. I will say, like, when we talk about this 4th line, and it's hard to bring this up tonight because the top of the lineup did nothing for you. But every time they're on the ice, nothing happens in terms of scoring. Of the guys who've been in regular rotation on that 4th line, only Grabenkin has any points whatsoever. He's got 2 assists, both of them not playing with those guys. The first one, he assists a Bobby Brink goal. Cates got the primary in Carolina, and his second assist was last night when he took the shift with TK and Dvorak.
So naturally, which one of those guys should we play with Michkov? Not Grebenkin.
Not Grebenkin, who
No, it should be Abels.
they had excellent chemistry together in the preseason, it seemed like, and we've seen Zegras, Grebenkin, Mish get some time together throughout games this season or earlier this season. It just feels like Tocchet has no confidence in any of his offensively gifted guys right now, outside of Konechny, who honestly I don't really know why.
Well, Bill, have you considered it might be a Russian issue?
I haven't. I haven't.
Just trying to stir the pot here, folks. I know there's none.
No, I haven't considered that. I'm just and listen, the team just has to play better. I don't care what the line combinations are. Maybe it's unfair. Matvei Michkov still like a month away from turning 21, that it's like drive a line, but dude, you need to drive a line. Even if it's maybe not Dvorak and Abels, but like you need to be better than 1 goal through the first 12, 13 games of the season.
I do agree with that, but I think the coach also needs to work with him and try to get him on the ice more, because like ultimately these guys probably aren't going to win that many games if he's not going. We were very fortunate we've gotten the best of Zegras for these first like 10 games, and we've gotten some good production here and there out of like the Cates, Brink and Forrester line. But as I said at the top of the show, like it's sad that one piece gets taken out and the system doesn't work, because the lines were working really well before the Couturier injury. And then these past 2 games, they're missing one piece and it just doesn't work. And they're going to have to figure something out because Forrester might be out for a few games.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to miss at least one more. The Tuesday game before he's reevaluated, like Rick Tocchet said. Charlie reported it pregame tonight. Like, yeah, it's going to be 3 or 4 days, and then he'll be reevaluated. So that would knock him out, at least for Montreal. And is Montreal an excellent team? No. But what they do have is a ton of firepower. You're probably going to have to score a few goals in that game if you want a chance to win it.
Montreal's 9-3-0, 18 points, top of the Atlantic right now. So they're playing like an excellent team right now. And they also have scored a bunch of goals. They've got 36 goals. So that's a team.
Yeah,
that's 36 against. Sorry about that. Goals for Montreal has 44. So they've scored a lot. That's a team that you have to worry about.
They score a ton. They can match firepower with a lot of teams in the top of this league. They can absolutely match. And if Forster, it seems as if going to be out again, like that is another piece right there, another important offensive piece, because he's one of the few offensively gifted players that Rick Tocchet seems to have any confidence in to play more than 13, 15 minutes a game.
Yeah, he has a ton of confidence in him, and without him, it's a different team, because he also can play that defensively responsible game. And I guess if he doesn't have Forrester and Cates together, Brink isn't going to be getting all those minutes as well. And that just sucks, because I really like what Brink has brought every night. And, it's a bummer that I think Tippett couldn't step up tonight, and Tippett didn't get the most ice time, but we saw Tippett be dominant for the first 5, 6-ish games, something like that. And it's just, it's a very disappointing night overall for the Flyers, especially given where our expectations were a few nights ago.
I think disappointing is the way to put it. Like, I don't expect them to go out and look like a cup contending team every night. That's asinine. No one expects that. They're not that. They're not ready. They don't have enough top end players. This coach hasn't been here long enough. This nucleus hasn't been together long enough for that to be the case. But like against the last place Calgary Flames, who are in a back-to-back situation, last game of a road trip, you need to come out and not have no juice. Yeah. That is I don't know if it's a coaching, a leadership, a conditioning issue. I don't know what the problem is, but like what we saw out there tonight, I don't care where you are in the rebuild, 3 shots in the first, 9 through 40 minutes. That's terrible. It's nowhere near good enough.
And a total disservice to the people who trudge down to the Wells Fargo Center on a Sunday night, warding off those Sunday scaries, thinking, all right, at least I'll get to watch a fun hockey game where the Flyers whoop a bad team. And they just see this horrible effort. The season ticket holders deserve better.
And honestly, from a personal standpoint, you're going to play a Sunday night hockey game in the fall. You better win. Honestly, this is just frustrating to have to do a Sunday night show and watch what we just watched. I'll accept it.
I should be watching the Commanders get whooped right now.
I'll accept it on a Tuesday. Sunday during football season, this is unacceptable. This is completely unacceptable.
Flyers
and
I'm talking to you, Bettman.
I don't know what else to say about that situation. Let's get to tonight's Ace Hardware Home Services temperature check. Let's look at which unit is heating up or cooling off with the Ace Hardware Home Services temp check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. We have no players heating up after tonight's game, so I am going to take a look at the penalty kill unit. They have now killed 21 straight penalties. They went 2 for 2 tonight. They are 38 for 42 on the season. That's 90.5%, which is what Buffalo is at. So the Flyers are tied for the best PK percentage in the league. And this is the one thing that they're doing well right now.
I think overall defensively, they're pretty solid right now. But yeah, the PK looks good. It isn't, I would say, as exciting and dangerous as it was the last couple of years, but I'll take these results. These are really good results. And if they can get the goal scoring and the power play to match this, we could be cooking with gas.
No, absolutely. I am liking what I'm seeing out of the penalty kill. And this is one of the things that I was interested in. Like, a lot of it has been the goaltending. Yes, you have to have your coverage because there's plenty of open backdoor opportunities for slam dunk goals if your coverage isn't good, cross ice passes, stuff like that. But Dan Vladar having a 940 through the first 6 games, that is a major part of the penalty kill. They always say your best penalty killer has to be your goalie. It's 5-on-4. They're going to get shots.
I like to think that 940 is also part of the defensive system that they're running out there. It has to be.
And tonight, the number 3 goalie comes in. It's not even Sam Ersson. It's, again, the much maligned Aleksei Kolosov. And he does what he has to do to keep this penalty kill unit running hot. And in a night where nothing else was really all that worth talking about, at least this PK was pretty good again. And it seems to be a strength of this team.
It's definitely a strength of this team, and I think defense in general, they just have not allowed a ton of goals this year. That Maple Leafs game was the exception. And again, you're talking about a team with Austin Matthews, so they're going to find times to score goals. And it was up to the Flyers to match that energy, and they just couldn't. It was not their night. And I'm willing to accept that because the Maple Leafs are a team with potential, a team that could be very good. But this Flames team is just bad, and it just sucks because they should have come out and just kicked their butts.
I can completely forgive last night's game if they come out and look half as good as they should have tonight. If they played a little bit better, they didn't have to be awesome. It doesn't take an amazing A+ effort to beat the Calgary Flames. They've lost almost every game this season leading to tonight. But here we are talking about a regulation loss, and the Flyers now have regulation losses for the first time, consecutive regulation losses for the first time this season. But I will say, at least the PK looks like it's back to, like you said, not the dangerous thing it was 2 years ago. That 14 shorthanded goals or whatever the hell they had. That's insane. But
I loved it.
At least it's not a weakness. It's back to being the strength that it was when Bradshaw really had this team going and they were getting some goaltending back in 2023-24.
We got one thing. We got something.
We got one thing. And listen, you have to build from somewhere.
You do.
So maybe they're building up this defensive effort so that they can push out, and both on the penalty kill and at even strength. That would be nice. But other than that, man, it was a rough go tonight.
It was a rough go. It was boring. You're sitting there and you're like, what are you doing out here? Are we watching a hockey game? And I think just watching them be unable to crack Calgary's system, I was disappointed in the lack of adjustments from the coaching staff, because even when you saw the Flyers in desperation mode late, they couldn't really figure out how to get into the inside of that shell that they had defensively. They were stacking the line when they were trying to enter. They weren't doing dump and chase. They would just kind of surround the goaltender, and they couldn't really get pucks deep.
All right, and with that, it is time to tell you about Crooked Tea. Everybody's got their favorite hard tea. It's one of the hot things right now, but have you ever turned the can of your usual hard tea to read what's in it? Well, usually you can't because they refuse to tell you. And while all the others might hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. There's no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, just put it back. Then grab a Crooked Tea, zero sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. You know what Philly Real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better, is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. While we're here, you know what time it is. It's Mando time. Listen, I know the weather is cooling down, but that is no reason to let your BO get out of control. Maybe you're not sweating as much. Maybe it's not quite as hot outside, but you still got to make sure you're keeping your grundles fresh, and you got to do it with Mando, because Mando is clinical strength sweat control. One swipe and you're good to go. It controls both sweat and odor for 72 hours, and after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%. This stuff works. It's deodorant re-engineered to stop odor before it starts, not just mask it, but prevent it. 100% of study participants experienced all-day odor protection. It's got premium ingredients. It's double protection. It tackles both odor and sweat. And Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers also get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. So use code PHLY at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. shopmando.com. And please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. We await Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line.
He's ghosting us, Bill. He doesn't want to talk about this game.
Now, I don't either, quite honestly, but we all have jobs to do. This apparently is mine. One thing I'll say about the PK is, and one thing I'll say about Rick Tochet's Matvei Michkov usage. A lot of games this season, the Flyers have marched to the penalty box, and they're among the league leaders in penalty minutes, time shorthanded per game, all that. Tonight, 2 minors, and one of them ended with, 20 seconds left. They were not shorthanded almost at all tonight. So that excuse doesn't, that typical, okay, there's a ton of penalties. He doesn't kill penalties. So that right there is a bunch of shifts where he's just not going to be out there. That's an acceptable excuse.
Sure.
But now, tonight, less than 4 minutes of time shorthanded, I don't know, man. What is the reason Matvei Michkov can't get on the ice for better than third line minutes?
I don't know, and it sucks, man. I just want to watch Michkov cook. I don't understand why you separated him and Zegras. They were doing stuff together. They were fun together. I want to see them back together, and I don't understand why when they were finally working and building that chemistry, you tear them apart. You're tearing me apart, Rick.
Yeah, it's really... I realize, again, it's not just about Mish this season.
I think it is. I think that's actually something that is wrong with the Tocchet administration here. Mr. Tocchet, give us our Michkov.
Mr. Tocchet, tear down this ice time. Now, I badly want to see him play better, but I thought a lot of it was either circumstantial or on him to this point. I'm not saying he played a great game and he just got benched for no reason. I don't think he got benched at any point tonight. It's just not enough ice time.
I want to see him out there playing. It was the same thing with Jet Luchenko, right? Jet Luchenko was sent back because he needs playing time. Matvei Michkov needs playing time. He needs to, figure his stuff out. And I want to see him with the guy he's had the most chemistry with, and that's Zegras.
If you're protecting a 1-goal lead with a few minutes left, you're up 2, double shifting some of your defensive guys.
I get it.
Cool. Understandable. He probably factored into why you have the lead. But a night where you're generating nothing and you needed a goal all game, you needed someone to just do one thing, even if he's not going, even if he's not having the most inspiring game. Guys like him, guys like Zegras, they can just make the one play. Even if they're playing like absolute ass, they still have the ability to have one shift where they change the game. Unfortunately, he was not given that opportunity tonight, or at least not enough of that opportunity. I've kind of been on Tochet's side most of this season with this stuff. Tonight is the night that I'm like, you were incorrect. It was incorrect to play Michkov only 13 and a half minutes.
Absolutely. And I feel like this is the first night where I can really say the Flyers lost a game that they should have won. There's no reason that they should lose this game against the Calgary Flames, were abysmal, worse on the road. And also just like, this is a home game, right? And Kolosov only lets up 2 goals. There's no reason they should have lost this and just looked so lifeless. They just looked lifeless. And I put that on the coaching staff, as I was saying before. They didn't adjust. They didn't figure out ways to penetrate Calgary's defensive system. I don't really understand what they were doing. I don't understand what was up with the Flyers, but I want to see Michkov cook. Let our guy cook.
And now, someone who never lets us down, it is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line live from the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Charlie, that was a hockey game?
Was it, William? Was it actually a hockey game?
By the technical definition of the term, a game played under the NHL banner, I suppose, has to be hockey. But it was, dear God, what happened? Did anything even happen in this game? Like, I guess Calgary wins because the Flyers stunk, but like, they didn't actually win. It was just they waited for the other team to lose. What the hell? What do you make of tonight's game?
Yeah, it was just an ugly, ugly hockey game. And I guess to Rick Tocchet's credit, if you want to give him credit for it, he more or less apologized to the fans, said, yep, I feel bad for the fans. That was an awful game. Really nothing going on either side. But in the end, Calgary finds a way to score 2 goals. The Flyers find a way to score just 1, and that's after they already go down 2-0. They never really come close in the final minute and a half after they pull Kolosov to getting another goal. Never got real close. I think from my perspective, the complete and utter lack of execution in the offensive zone is wild because, and you know what, I understand why people would jump to this because obviously it was a thing that kind of was brought up around Rick Tocchet in the lead up to the hire, that like he's a dump and chase coach. They're just going to dump and chase. They're going to be so boring. I track the entries as games go on. This was not a particularly dump and chase heavy game. Now, I didn't track the third period yet, but in the first 2 periods, Flyers had 23 controlled entries and 24 dump ins. That's a near 50% controlled entry rate. That's pretty good. It's not that the Flyers aren't getting possession in the offensive zone. It's that when they get in the offensive zone, it doesn't seem like they have a clue of what to do. There aren't enough guys in front. And then when there are guys in front, there aren't enough guys winning battles in the corners. And the passes are sometimes completely off. You have that one play, I believe it was in the second period, when Travis Konecny's got nobody in front of him. He's blasting it on the rush, and he passes to Yegor Zamula. Like, how in any way, shape, or form does that seem like a good idea? Now, maybe the pass was intended to go to Zegras. Maybe. And this isn't even me crapping on Zamula. Like, Zamula, when he's playing his best, is a perfectly solid third-pair defenseman. But if you're Travis Konecny and you're a 30-goal scorer, in no way, shape, or form should you ever be passing up an opportunity to create a scoring chance for yourself to get the puck in a less dangerous spot to a significantly worse pure shooter. That's just it's mind-boggling, some of the decisions they're making in the offensive zone, some of the passes they're making, some of the passes they're not making, some of the shots they're not taking. It's wild to me, and you can see it on the score sheet. Like, you can't play against the Calgary Flames, maybe the worst team in hockey so far this year, and put up 18 shots on goal. That's embarrassing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
And the 18 shots, like, that's by doubling their total in the third period. Yeah. They had 9 through 40 minutes. We have the graphic up right now. 3 in the first, 6 in the second. Charlie, I can't sit here and be like, oh, well, Rick Tocchet's coaching them not to generate shots. But Rick Tocchet's 2 full seasons in Vancouver, the Canucks averaged 27 shots on goal a game. That was the 4th fewest. They're the 7th worst and the 2nd worst in those 2 seasons. Petey brought this up last night. They were near the bottom a couple years in Arizona, and now they came in tonight 31st. They were .01 ahead of the Kraken. I can't imagine that a game in which they had 18 shots, also 18 shots blocked, they were able to stay ahead. So they're in last place. Is this part, like, Are they just focusing so much on defense? Why can't they get shots off? I know you don't know the answer, because if you did, you'd be coaching the team. But it just feels like they have no idea what to do on offense.
Well, one thing that Travis Konechny noted, and this is interesting, and maybe this gives you a little bit of hope that they will eventually be able to figure it out. Konechny basically said he thinks they're still trying to figure out the balance between, when, because Tocchet, this is what Konechny said, like Tocchet wants us to dump in sometimes. He wants us to play, a conservative style sometimes, but then on other plays, he wants us to make plays. He wants us to be aggressive, to take risks. And Konechny just thinks they haven't yet found the balance yet, and that's what's leading to these obscenely low shot on goal totals. That said, Bill, you make a good point about the fact that Rick Tocchet teams historically have been low shot on goal teams. They have been. That's a fact. Now, I'm not sure I want to ding him too much for those Coyotes teams because they weren't that talented, but those Vancouver teams, they had skill. I mean, they had, maybe the best or the second best offensive defenseman in hockey in Quinn Hughes. They had Elias Pettersson, JT Miller before he got traded, Brock Besser. They had good players. They probably shouldn't be near the bottom in shots on goal. Now, one thing I will say about that, and this is something I was going back and forth with some people on Twitter about during the game, like, this is not a situation where, like, Rick Tocchet is going in the room and telling the team, don't take shots. He is very clearly telling them, shoot the puck more. I mean, he's telling us, like, it's not as if he's going to the media saying, yeah, I want the guys to shoot the puck more, and then going behind closed doors and say, yeah, I just lied to the media, go and take 15 shots in a game. Like, he's telling them almost certainly the exact same thing he's telling us, because he's noticeably frustrated with it. And the best way to lose your team would be to rip them publicly in the media for something you're telling them to do behind closed doors. So it's not like Tocchet is telling them not to shoot. Now, what could be a problem here, going back to his previous history, maybe there's something about Tocchet's systems that make his teams, less conducive to high shot on goal totals. Now, I don't know what it is. I'm sure the dump and chase element of it, because his teams do historically lean towards the dump and chase. That's probably a little bit of it. Some of it maybe is the commitments to defense. They are in the defensive zone, they are a keep them to the outside team. That probably cuts down a little bit on your total puck possession, because you're not trying as hard to get the puck back as quick as possible, which means you have just less minutes in a game with the puck. But a lot of this, and I don't want to let Tocchet off the hook entirely, but a lot of this just seems like the players making bad decisions with the puck. Mm-hmm. And look, it's very easy to criticize Tocchet for this. I get it if people want to do it. But in the end, he can't, like, take over a player's brain when he has the ability to take a shot and force him to shoot. In the end, it's on the player to shoot the damn puck.
And that's, as you're, like, running through some of the things that might be, I'm like, dump and chase, defensively oriented. I'm like, well, Carolina gets more shots than anybody for years under Rod Brendamore. The one difference being they play that man-to-man defense that forces more turnovers. So maybe that's, like, instead of keeping them to the outside, they're like, nope, I'm on top of you, poke check, let's go the other way. Maybe that's a little part of it. But honestly, Charlie, in terms of offensive creation, maybe getting guys who can create on offense on the ice a little bit more would help. Now, we've used the excuse to start the year, Mish came in out of shape. Okay, I'll accept it maybe. A lot of games, it's just a march to the penalty box. He doesn't kill penalties. All right, that's just shifts he's not going to play. Tonight, in a game in which you needed offense for 60 minutes, Matvei Michkov played 13 and a half. That's not enough. That's third line minutes for a guy who's supposed to be pushing this thing. Like, was he questioned about that? And what did you think about him playing? I think it was 13:41.
No, and look, I know that fans, if they had their way, the first question, the second question, and the third question asked to Rick Tocchet would be about Matvei Michkov. So no, he wasn't asked specifically about Matvei Michkov's ice time. The fact of the matter is, yeah, like, Michkov should be getting more minutes. To me, the bigger mistake on that front was less the minutes, although sure, it would have been nice if Michkov got 4 more minutes. It was starting out the game on a line with Christian Dvorak and Rodrigo Abels. Now, Dvorak has been fine so far this year. He is a perfectly fine player. And Abels, to his credit, did have a strong game last night. So maybe that was the thinking. But in the end, like, Dvorak is at best a third liner, and Abels is a guy who's still trying to establish himself as an NHL player. Like, I don't know yet if Rodrigo Abels is an every night NHL player. I don't want a guy who's still trying to prove that he can hack it at this level on a line for the first 2 periods with your most raw, gifted offensive player in Matvei Michkov. That to me was a mistake. It seems like a lot of this is really stemming from the fact that Tocchet can't seem to, or it's not that he can't see, because sometimes he does it, but he's struggling to get past the mistakes that Gurbenkin makes to put him up in the lineup, because Gurbenkin makes a lot of plays. He's clearly got more skill, more raw, creativity than a Rodrigo Abels does. But it just seems like Tocchet gets scared to push him up in the lineup because he's afraid he's going to make a big mistake at a bad time. And maybe he would, but he also probably provides more upside than a Rodrigo Abels. And when they juggled up the lines in the third period, Gurbenkin was up in the top 9. So eventually he got there. But it would have been nice if it wouldn't have taken 40 minutes for that to happen when they show the lines and warmups and everybody's like, why is Abels in the top 9 and why isn't Gurbenkin? It seemed like such an obvious thing to do. I don't know why they didn't start with it.
If I had to move somebody up into the top 9 off the fourth line to replace Tyson Forster, it would probably be the only one of my possible options with any points at all this season. I don't know.
Wild logic.
I don't know.
Absolutely wild logic right there, Bill.
One positive tonight, Aleksei Kolosov wasn't bad.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I couldn't tell. Were you guys able to tell if that first goal was deflected off of Cam York's stick? Because I couldn't tell from the views I was able to see, but I heard some people in my mentions were saying that they weren't sure. Both of the goals were definitely screened, but I wasn't sure if York got a piece of it.
The first one, it was either York or Sanheim's getting pushed by the other forward, and it seems like they just crossed in front of him. I didn't notice a deflection.
Okay.
And the second one was just that Huberdeau, all right, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's a great redirection goal. It's a great tip goal. And Huberdeau had a good game. He's a really good player. Maybe not as good as he was, 4 or 5 years ago, but he's still a good player, still a really skilled offensive player. But in the end, look, it's not like Calgary played that well in this game.
No,
either. It was just that they made a couple more plays. They had more guys going to the net. They found ways to manufacture a couple dirty goals. And I'm not going to bury Kolosov on either of them. The first one was screen, maybe a little bit of a deflection redirect. And the second one was a great redirect with guys in front where Jamie Drysdale, who has had a strong season, he got out muscled on that play. That's a play where, Huberdeau gets in front of him, gets position, and Drysdale is just stuck behind trying to push him fruitlessly. And you know what? That's going to happen. Obviously, Jamie Drysdale is still a developing player, but needed a little bit better defensive work from him on that one. You can't let Huberdeau gain position that easily on that play. But Kolosov overall, strong game. I would say he did about as well as you could hope, reasonably hope, from your number 3 goalie who's coming up for his first game in the NHL this season. Kolosov was fine.
Just happy to not have a complete and abject disaster from at the end of the day.
Honestly, yeah.
So we were really missing Tyson Forster tonight. Is he a hard candidate now after seeing this team without him?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, I thought he was good. Watching this game, maybe he's just the best player on the team, and we didn't even know. No, I do think that the Forster absence, and hopefully it's not too long, but what Rick Tocchet said today didn't seem too promising. I'll tell you that. When it's like, well, we'll reevaluate him in 3 or 4 days, that strikes me as we need to wait for the swelling to go down before we can see just how bad this thing is. That's concerning to me. But I think the Forster absence, the big thing it hurt them with was they've always, Tocchet all year has always been able to go back to that Cates line when he needs to get something going, when he needs a good shift, when he needs a shutdown shift, when he needs a momentum changing shift. And by losing Forster, look, Cates and Brick are still good players, but Cates, we talked to Cates after the game. He even acknowledged, we're struggling to get some chemistry because obviously he's been playing with Brink and Forster for over a year now, basically. I don't know when they put that line together exactly, but it has to be
December, I think.
Close to a full season it's been pretty much those 3 exclusively. So it makes sense that Tippett's not just going to be able to jump in and just recreate the puck support and the chemistry that they have. But I do think that hurt them. Suddenly the line, your go-to line, it's like, I mean, this isn't a great comparison, but it's like if you're a baseball team with an all-star closer and then the all-star closer's hurt. And it's like, well, crap, now how do we close out games? And then suddenly everything's a mess because guys have to take on different roles that they're maybe not well suited for, and suddenly you're blowing leads. It's a little bit like that because I just feel like they had fallen into the that role for Tocchet where that was the fallback line. It was like, well, if nothing else is working, we can always go to the Cates line. And tonight, when nothing was working, he had nothing to go to, and you ended up with an ugly game like this as a result.
Like,
Well,
that's
you know
so-
what they say, when all else fails, Rodrigo Abels. All right, Charlie, let's get to the 3 stars of the game. I would have made Tyson Forster #1 star, honestly, tonight.
There you go.
Who do you have for star number 3?
Yeah, star number 3, you know, I want to go Konechny because he did get a goal,
Sure.
but like I don't think he played that well. Like
No.
he scored a goal and he gets a goal. You know what? I'm gonna go off board here. I'm gonna give third star to Gritty because at least he didn't do anything that like was actively annoying in this game.
He
So
had a
Gritty
great
gets third star.
costume the other day.
Yeah. All right. All right. Who's
Solid
tonight's
Halloween
second
weekend.
star?
Second star, and this is again grasping. I thought Trevor Zegras at least made some plays. He was at least doing
He was
some
out there.
things. Yeah, there were some
20 plus
creative
minutes.
plays that were being made by Zegras more so than from Konechny, at least from until he scores the goal, which is more of like a meat and potatoes goal off a faceoff. But Zegras made some plays. They didn't end up in goals, but he made some plays. So sure, he gets second star.
And first star of the game.
It's Aleksei Kolosov. You
Yeah.
know, he's the only Flyer who I can say with a straight face had a solid game. Wasn't an amazing game. It wasn't like he was, doing highway robbery on the Flames all game long because the Flames didn't play that well and he gave up 2 goals. But I would say Kolosov overall, solid performance. And on this night, that's enough for first star.
All right, those are Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars, and that was Charlie O'Connor live on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Chuck, we'll talk again Tuesday.
All right. See you guys.
All right, and with that, we have to get to our last break. Yeah. If your home needs a little TLC, or you're dreaming of that next big vacation, or maybe even want to come with us to Anaheim, see a Philly team on the road, why not? Then you got to listen up. TrueMark Financial's HELOC Select just got even better because rates just dropped, making it even more affordable to put your home's equity to work. You need a new kitchen, some big repairs, maybe knock out some debt. With the HELOC Select, you can access your cash all at once, or just as you need it. You have total flexibility, just like a good game plan. So make it happen today. Visit one of TrueMark's 24 branches or head to truemark.com/PHLY and get in the game today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender, NMLS 404938. And now it's time to tell you about Ashley, because you got to picture this, a fan cave that actually feels like your dream setup. Thanks to Ashley, that could be real. We're giving away a $2,500 Ashley Furniture gift card. Go big on a sectional, add some stylish pieces, or just trick out your space for game day. It's all up to you. Just visit ashleyfancave.com, see if you're eligible, fill out the form, and you're entered. It's that simple. Enter now, and you might be watching the next big game in a fan cave built by you, courtesy of Ashley. Had to get that in before overtime. I see Bryn sweating over there. I ran through that so hard.
I'm very proud.
Let's do super chats and then get to overtime as soon as we have to. All right. From Obi-Wan says, meh, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. I'm a little mad.
I'm both.
I'm a little mad because it's Sunday, because it seems like it was kind of avoidable. But yeah, disappointed is like, just someone make a play.
Just
This
someone
is
score a
not,
goal.
again, this is not the 95 Devils. It should not be this hard to get 20 shots on goal. I'm not asking for 30 here.
25 would have been great. 25
20?
would have been great.
Like, just 20. Like,
Yeah,
fascinating.
I'm
how
mad
bad-
and disappointed.
Fascinating how bad that was.
It stunk.
All right, from Adam S. Seems like when the going gets tough, back-to-backs, etc., the Flyers just never have that extra gear. They had no gears tonight.
No, they were like, back to backs.
Yeah, it just
I asked for that.
We'll have to see as the season progresses a little bit what situation they're in. This is a 3-4. They've had the busy schedule, but they've been at home. I can't really blame the schedule when it's this early and they're at home. And with that, we're heading to overtime. Go to allphly.com to keep watching the show.
Yeah, I think Talk's got to take advantage of that practice facility a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like shoot. Maybe they have the whole area where you can just shoot pucks. Maybe a little class trip over to the shooting range. All right. From David Shub, did we whiff on trading Tippett while we still could? Tippett, this is what Tippett's gonna be. And I think we all have to come to grips with it. And if he's excellent during his hot streaks, that's fine for a middle sixer. Everyone else has to do their job ahead of him, behind. But if he can be the guy who scores 5 goals in 6 games, has 7 in 5, things like that, If he goes quiet for 5 or 6, that's fine. Wayne Simmons did it all the time. I wish sports betting had been legal when he was in his prime, because I had it nailed. It was 7 games. He would go quiet for 7 games, and then he'd have 4 or 5 where he had like a goal and a half per game.
Was that 2 weeks?
It was, yeah. It was just, it was like clockwork, 7-game goal droughts for Simmons. If that's what it can be for Tippett, and like obviously Simmons brought a lot of other stuff to the table than just scoring goals.
Great heart and hustle, baby.
Great leader, physical, badass, cool. Like Tippett seems pretty cool.
He does seem cool.
He seems cool.
Yeah.
But like, if this is what he's gonna be,
Give the
at that
physicality
level, though,
and the
like,
speed.
Yeah, like a little more physicality. But if he can be at the level he was during his hot streak, we can deal with the cold streaks. It's just we'll see what happens next time he scores a few. All right. This is Sticky Panda 7388. So are we all still okay with the Mish treatment?
No.
Tonight I thought was incorrect. I said throughout the show, I have been on Tochet's side. I kind of see what he's getting at. Tonight it's like, I don't know, man. You have no shots. You generate nothing. Maybe get the guy out there and see if he can make a play.
Give me my Michkov.
And yeah, there's also just like, what are we
Free
really?
Matvei.
Yeah, just let Matvei cook, like you said.
Let him cook.
All right, another one here from Adam. This team's high highs and low lows really suck. This is what a turning the corner team looks like as we try to navigate out of, well, we're trying to win some games this year from, yeah, man, we're going to throw a goalie tandem, a goalie trio out there. We have no idea what to expect. Let's see. And we're still subtracting. We're figuring out who's going to be here and who isn't. This is that next step of learning what it is. So I do think there's just going to be wild inconsistency this year. But
this is
be more entertaining in your inconsistency.
Right. I mean, this is a nice reminder that
lose 6-5.
This is a nice reminder that this was the 4th worst team in hockey last season.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a cruel reminder. But yeah, be more entertaining when you lose, please.
Yes.
And thank you.
All right. And from DA Power Play Man, 7 forwards played more even strength minutes than Michkov. That's bad. Agreed.
That's bad.
That's like. That's third line and then some, you know, like, and not even like, well, he's your third liner, but you jump him up into the top 6. No, he's your second option on the third line.
He basically had him playing on a 4th line today.
Yeah, and when it's Dvorak, like, listen, Dvorak, I think he's a good third liner.
Sure.
But when we were looking at the depth chart to start the season, it's like, well, if they keep Cates at center and if Zegras is a full-time center, that makes Dvorak a 4C, a very well-paid 4C, and maybe we'll have a good 4th line, but that's what he is then in that situation. And then when you put Rodrigo Abels, like, all right, if Dvorak's your third guy on the line, sure, acceptable. But if he's the center and Abels is one of the winger, like, who's going to generate the offense? Well, the answer was Matvei Michkov, and they gave him 13 minutes to try tonight.
Abels is a terrible sous chef. Don't
let him cook. All right. And with that, that's all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers tonight. 57 likes. I can't blame you, but if you could bump that number up a little bit, I'd really, really appreciate it.
Night,
for us.
Thank you. Come on.
For us. For the hour that we just gave you of free programming.
We tap dance, folks.
Give us a few likes. But that's all the time we have for you on Postgame tonight. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page and hit that like button. It'll make us feel good. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. Listen to Flyperbole as well, because you probably want to hear way more about this team.
Yeah, you need to hear a lot more.
What a night.
Don't worry.
What a night, folks.
We always find time to not talk about
the
this
great
team.
thing about Flyperbole, they'll talk about anything.
I will talk about literally anything.
Could be anything.
Anything.
All right. Thank you very much to Brenna for producing. I am
Best.
Bill Matz. That's Steve Jaco. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.